The date was July 1861, when the Union Army first clashed with the Confederate forces near Manassas, Virginia. The encounter would be known as the Battle of Bull Run and begin a long chapter in our nation's history known as the Civil War. 61 area farmers from the village of Dunton responded to the call for Union volunteers. James McEllows, brothers James and John Best, along with Jacob and Charles Sigwalt, were just a few. Perryville, Mission Ridge, Dolton, Kennesaw Mountain, Gettysburg, Stone River, Atlanta, and Nashville were some of the battles these farm boys from Dunton would encounter on their march to victory. By the war's end in 1865, 3 of those 61 volunteers had given their lives to save the Union. Warren Kennicott died at Gettysburg. Jacob Sigwalt, brother of Charles Sigwalt, died at the Battle of Stone River. James Best died of measles in an Army hospital in Collinsville, Tennessee. While James lay dying of measles, his brother John Best was suffering in another Union hospital. The crude medical facilities and treatments common during the Civil War affected John profoundly. He believed there must be a better, more humane way to treat critically ill patients. After a long convalescence, John Best recovered, and he enrolled in the new Rush Medical College in Chicago. In 1870, after completing his medical studies, Dr. John Best returned to the village of Dunton to practice medicine. His wife, Nellie, had remained in the village during his military service. She remained active in the community and was founder of the village's public library. Dr. Best could never forget the many sacrifices of those original 61 farm boys from Dunton. He wanted to honor them and have them remembered. So in 1883, Dr. Best donated land to the village for a soldier's memorial. He wanted the land used as a tribute to his fellow citizens who had served and sacrificed to save the Union. After the Civil War, many of the original volunteers returned to the village of Dunton. One was Charles Sigwalt. He returned and held many important community positions. He was the village postmaster, and he served as village president for 11 consecutive terms. During his service, the village changed its name to Arlington Heights. The Arlington Heights Volunteer Fire Department was created, and the village's first sewer and water systems were installed. Dr. Best and Mayor Sigwalt were just the first in a long line of veterans from Arlington Heights. Some 50 years later, 135 men of Arlington Heights answered the call for volunteers to serve their nation, this time in the trenches of France during World War I. By war's end in 1918, 14 of those volunteers had given the last greatest measure of their devotion to their country. The surviving men returned to a very special welcome from Arlington Heights. The village staged a welcome home parade down Vale Street. The 121 returning veterans marched in platoon formation to the cheers of their families, friends, and fellow residents. Soon thereafter, Arlington citizens formed a committee to place a monument in the park originally donated by Dr. John Best. The monument would honor the returning veterans and remember those who had fallen in the service of their country. Dr. Bruce Best, son of Civil War veteran Dr. John Best, headed this committee. Using funds donated by the community, they placed a World War I monument in the park that can still be seen today. It lists the names of all the Arlington Heights veterans who served during the First World War. 5 years later, in 1925, a second monument was added to the park honoring Arlington's heroes of the Civil War. The tall granite monument contains symbols of the 5 military services during the Civil War. The park donated by Dr. John Best was originally called Monument Park because it referred to the Civil War and the World War I monuments. Then, in June 1925, the park's name was changed to Memorial Park when the land was donated by the village to the newly formed Arlington Heights Park District. Throughout the years, The community of Arlington Heights has placed many more monuments at Memorial Park. Today, there are monuments honoring the service and sacrifice of Arlington veterans and their families during World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the conflicts in Panama, Grenada, and Desert Storm. All of these monuments have been placed through direct fundraising by Arlington citizens and Arlington civic groups like the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Arlington Heights Post 981, the Lions Club, and many, many others. Memorial Park is located at Fremont and Chestnut Streets in the historic district of the Village. It is just 1 block west of the Arlington Heights Memorial Library and 1 block west of the Arlington Heights Historical Society Museum. Memorial Park is the oldest park in Arlington Heights. This is the only permanent place in the village that honors both our active duty military personnel and our veterans, both past and present. It is a special place where solemn ceremonies for fallen soldiers take place. Each year, the park is the gathering place at the end of the Arlington Heights Memorial Day Parade, where our community comes together to remember and honor the service and sacrifice of our veterans and their families. Since the original dedication of Memorial Park in 1920, nothing had been done to the park design other than routine maintenance. With the dawn of the new millennium, the monuments were showing their age, and there was a great need to update the overall design of the park. In this condition, Memorial Park simply did not represent the way Arlington felt about its veterans and their families. With 9/11 and the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, once again our sons and daughters volunteered their service and sacrifice to our country. And once again, some of them gave the last greatest devotion to their nation. With all this happening, and in light of the aging condition of the park, many Arlington citizens and veterans agreed that Memorial Park was in desperate need of updating. Therefore, in November 2006, the Arlington Heights Park Foundation began working with a committee of Arlington Heights citizens and veterans to develop a new design for Memorial Park. Their goal was to provide a suitable place to honor the service and sacrifice of Arlington veterans and their families. The all-volunteer Drive to Revive Memorial Park Committee has been instrumental in developing the new design for the park. Over 2 years of intensive work, a beautiful new design was developed. Concurrently, the committee worked with the Park Foundation and many others to raise the $170,000 needed to construct the new Phase 1 design of the park. As in the past, these monies were raised through donations from individual citizens, businesses, and government agencies. The first phase of Memorial Park reconstruction was finished in fall 2008. On November 8, 2008, the Arlington Heights Park District formally rededicated Memorial Park. Hundreds of Arlington Heights veterans, families, residents, and officials braved the inclement weather to join in the ceremony. The rededication concluded with a special military flag ceremony honoring the 6 military branches of the United States Armed Forces. This flag ceremony showcased the new design of the park. Veterans from the American Legion Post 208 and VFW Post 981, along with the Northwest Suburban Marine Corps League, all participated. The November 8th rededication ceremony marked the conclusion of the first phase of Memorial Park's redevelopment. This first phase features new walkways and landscaping leading to a new central plaza which features a 5-point star. On the wall around the star are the emblems for each branch of the military services: Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and the Merchant Marine. Directly surrounding the star are spaces for memorial bricks, which can be engraved with the name of any active duty service member or any veteran, past or present. With these bricks, The service and sacrifice of our veterans can be remembered by all who visit Memorial Park. To date, some 200 memorial bricks have been placed already. One family has placed bricks to honor the service of 8 family members spanning 4 wars. Beyond individual veterans, the park's new walkways also have spaces for memorial bricks donated by groups and organizations that would like to honor our veterans and their families. All the historic monuments previously in Memorial Park have been refurbished and relocated to the western portion of the park. The Civil War and World War I monuments, along with all the plaques honoring our heroes from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and recent conflicts, can be viewed together on one monument wall. Phase 2 of the Drive to Revive Memorial Park is now just beginning. Phase 2 includes new lighting for the park, timeline markers with bronze plaques listing the conflicts that Arlington Heights veterans have participated in, and a special sculpture to be placed in the central plaza at the center of the star. Designed by noted Arlington Heights sculptor Fran Volz, the Eternal Flame sculpture will be made of bronze and stand some 15 feet high. It represents our eternal honor and remembrance of the service and sacrifice of our veterans and their families. Once again, community involvement and support is essential to making Phase 2 of Memorial Park redevelopment possible. We need your help. You can make donations to Phase 2 of Memorial Park by logging on to ahparkfoundation.org, or you can donate in person at the Arlington Heights Park District Administrative Offices or at any branch of Village Bank and Trust. There are a number of great opportunities to support this historic effort. For a $100 donation, a 4-inch by 8-inch engraved memorial brick can be placed for any U.S. veteran or active duty service personnel, both past and present. These memorial bricks will be placed around the star in the central plaza. For a $150 donation, a 4-inch by 8-inch engraved memorial brick can be placed for any non-military individual and their families. These bricks will be placed on the walkways leading into the central plaza. For a $500 donation, 8-inch by 8-inch memorial bricks are available for families, businesses, and civic groups. Mounted 6-inch by 9-inch bronze plaques are available for families, businesses, civic groups, and others for a donation of $2,000. Special commemorative park benches, which include a donor recognition plaque on the bench, are also available for a donation of $5,000. There are other donation opportunities above and beyond those listed. Opportunities for major donations, such as those by a corporation, foundation, or civic organization, are available on a limited basis and will be tastefully recognized within Memorial Park. Individuals and organizations can also help with fundraising activities. Please contact Stephanie Krogert at the Arlington Heights Park District by calling 847-506-7143. Ever since Civil War veteran Dr. John Best first donated his land for the purpose of a soldier's memorial, Memorial Park has always benefited from the support of private citizens, veterans, and local organizations. It is the oldest park in Arlington, and it is the only park dedicated to the service and sacrifice of our veterans and their families. To honor them, we ask that you please donate to the Drive to Revive Memorial Park.